eternity. To pluck the strings of destiny. Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jay here, Berserker Racing. We're out here at Bowman Dragway at the Who's Gonna Go First event. It's some grudge slash gambler slash TNC event, and we're gonna come out here and try our luck. Alright, so that was the first test pass. It was slow, but I expected it to be slow. The nicest ramp I have in it is very, very, very soft and lazy. This car is known for doing monster wheelies at this track, and I don't have adjustable suspension up front just yet. I only have limiters, so I figured I'd play with the progressive at a very low setting to start off with to see. Just by looking at this slip, my mile an hour is the same, almost the same as it usually is when I'm running a lot faster, but my 60-foot suffered tremendously by 2 full temps. So I'm going to go ahead and get in the laptop, do a little bit of number magic, wizard shit, go back up for another pass. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Jay here. We're going to go over this Datalog from yesterday. I've got 4 of them, one for each pass. And the purpose of this is just to show you what I see, what I'm looking at after I make a pass. So this first one, I'm going to go over the vitals first. I'm not going to go over the vitals for all 4 because they're pretty much the same. I've confirmed them. They all look good, as far as battery, coolant temp, AFR, duty cycle, closed loop compensation. I mean, it's spot on. The main stuff I want to point out though is RPM drop, nitrous, timer, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about what we see right here, right now. So this is the first pass. It was a test pass. It wasn't all that fast, but it was a good starting point. So you can see here that TPS was at 93, AFR was at 12, closed loop comp 4. I mean, you can see all that. Fuel pressure 47. I don't know why it didn't start recording the second I let off of the trans brake button, because the nitrous timer is already started with 0.39 seconds. So I don't know why it didn't record before that, but it's all the same. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of this stuff off of here, because like I said, the vitals look good. So we're going to get rid of oil pressure, we're going to get rid of battery. Let's see here. And we can probably just keep the rest of this stuff on here. All right, so I have my shift light being commanded by my terminator, Holley EFI, and it's commanded to come on at 7,000 RPMs. Excuse me. So if you look up top here at RPM, the red line, you can see I shifted, 7109. Not that bad. And then after the shift, it dropped down to 6099. And that's a little bit more than I'm used to seeing. I don't know if I have an issue going on there or not, but I guess only time will tell. So moving right along, going from second to third. I shifted at a little bit higher this time, 7325. It was bright out there. It's hard to see that blue shift light I have. But again, we're seeing about 1,000 to 1,100 RPM drop at the shift. Right, so, and then running it out the back, crossing the stripe at almost 6,900. So I'm happy with that, considering I had such a soft leave in the car, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So let me go all the way back here to the beginning, and if you look over here, you can see it's at 33%, and it's already 0.39 seconds into the nitrous timer. I'm pretty sure it was started off at 30%, but that's fine. So that's this green line, but we're gonna stay on the red line because it's easier to follow, right? So 33%, right? 35, 37, 39, 40, 41, 43. It doesn't get to 100% duty cycle until 1.6 seconds into the pass, which makes sense because I know I'm on a 2-second timer. So 1.6, well, you can look over here in 2.0 timer, or nitrous timer, I'm sorry, it's 2 seconds, 100%, right? So I'm well beyond my 60 foot, and then here on out is 100%. So I need to work on getting that car, putting the power down, being able to take more in this area. And I believe that's going to need to be done by getting some adjustable front struts on the car. Right now I only have limiters, and they are full tight, and the car still wants to get crazy with wheelies and stuff. So anyways, with that being said, so yeah, we're right here, from here to here. That's the nitrous ramp. That's slightly under half of the pass, right? Now, here to here, that's all 100%, like I already said. But another thing I wanted to talk about was my duty cycle, right? So if we come all the way over here, duty cycle 49.5. I think the highest it gets up to is 65.8. So we'll just keep going right along here. And I know it's somewhere in there. Well, it's somewhere in there, but it was 63 to 65, somewhere around there. So I still got plenty of injector left. I got 85 pound-hour fast injectors. So I still got quite a bit of that to go. So another thing that I noticed that I need to work on is the throttle position. So back here in the beginning, if you look, TPS says 93%. So the nitrous is armed at 90%, the trans brake button interrupts it. But what that tells me is that I wasn't exactly at wide open throttle either. So I need to work on that. I've noticed that in other data logs too. So yeah, I'll make sure I work on that. So pass 1 was a clean pass. It was the cleanest pass of the 4 passes I made. There was no pedaling, no nitrous turning on and off, which you'll see in some of the other logs. But just give you an idea of what it is I see and what I'm looking at. One last thing, the closed loop compensation, right? So, I mean, it's really close. Is there room to make some small adjustments there? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's pretty close. What is the highest number we saw? What, 7%? Right? So, and that's the same for all 4 passes. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here and start working on the review of the second data log. Alright, so we just did our second test pass, and a little bit more in it. The first second and a half, I increased it by 5% on the duty cycle of the nitrous. So I gained another, or I dropped a tenth off my 60, which is good. I went a tenth faster to the stripe and picked up 3 miles an hour. So I'm gonna add a little bit more to it. It's still not wheeling. 60 foot's still not good, but I'm chipping away at it. So I'm gonna let the car cool off a little bit, and we're gonna go try again. All right. So this is the data log for the second pass, right? I don't know if I stated in the other one, but the first one I was in left lane, this one I was also in left lane, and I actually managed to get a new personal best on this pass. Not by much, we're just talking a couple hundredths, and a little bit more mile an hour. And it was actually with a rather shitty 60 foot. So the only change I made between the first pass and the second pass was I believe I just added a little bit more to the nitrous ram. So yeah, it's at 38% now, as where before it was at 33. So I added 5%, right? And that little bit, I want to say, and I think I brought it in sooner, all in 100%. Yeah, at 1.87 seconds, as where before it was 2 seconds. So not a huge swing, but it was enough to get me some small noticeable gains. Again, I took all the vitals and other stuff off the screen to make it easier to look at, to kind of dissect it better. Because, like I said, all that stuff is good, and there's no need to talk about all of that. I covered it on the first one. So anyways, but if you look here, right, at 6,700 RPMs, the nitrous stage was at 46%. We're a little over 1 second into the pass, and TPS is at 94%. Again, like I said, I have to work on that, but here we go. We're at 100. So that's a shift right there. Right, so I'm still in the process of flooring it, right? So that's not a pedal. I misspoke, right? So we're at 100% TPS, nitro stage. We're at 100% at 1.74 seconds, 6,570 RPMs. We're going. AFR is 11.9. Bam. pedal it. It's at 6,500 RPMs. TPS is down to 44%. Nitrous shuts off and doesn't come back on. Let's see, it shuts off at 1.5 into the run. Doesn't turn back on until 1.672. So a little bit over a tenth of a second there. Right. But each time it shuts off, it starts to ramp completely over. So you notice it says 35%, right? And TPS is now at 100%. So here we go, we're back. And that's a shift. So that's the 2-3. We're still going. We're gonna ride it out. All the way out to the end. 100%. So that portion of the nitrous timer was 3.27 seconds. So even though I pedaled, right, and the nitrous timer had to start over, I still got a new personal best with a crappy 60 foot, because like I said, that pedal happened, what'd I say, at 1.5 into the run? I think it was right around here, yeah. I pedaled right here at 1.516 into the run. And the 60 foot was about that bad, I think. And like I said, I managed to pull off a new personal best, like just by a couple hundredths, but still, it's still better. And then the mile an hour was actually really good. It was like 3 more mile an hour from the first pass, and then 1 mile an hour gain for personal best. So I have a couple little notes here that I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. I crossed the stripe that time at almost 7,000 RPM, so it was gaining RPM pretty good. And yeah, I think that's about it. This was another semi-decent pass, just that one little hiccup. And if I turn the nitrous back on, oh, it's already on. It's the green line here. You can see these dips. That's where it turned off, and this is where it's ramping back in. This is where it originally ramped, shut off, and then was ramping back in. So you can kind of tell that when I pedaled it, there goes the nitrous. I know it doesn't make sense to some. It didn't make sense to me at all at first when I first started messing with this stuff, but it makes perfect sense to me now. So anyways, yeah, that was the second pass. That was a solo run. The first pass I raced, I don't know, Malibu, Nova, Chevelle. I wasn't paying attention, but I beat the guy the first test pass by quite a bit. Second pass was a solo pass. And then the next one's going to be the third pass, which was the first round of the Gamblers event. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on that portion of the review. So, as you can see, I cleaned it up a little bit again. I have just the nitrous and just the RPM on there. Vitals are still good. Now, you notice how the red line is a lot more different than the previous ones, because this one was a disaster. I lost this round, which was the first round. The car went into a wheelie. I pedaled it. It came down a little aggressive, and then I stabbed it again, and then the car went up again. I pedaled it again, and then tried to ride it out, but it just wasn't enough. But anyways, so the type of event it was a gambler's race, and in case you don't know what a gambler's race is, it's basically you just line your cars up with a dial-in on your car, and you get paired up against somebody with whatever dial-in they have on their car. So let's say I had 550 dial-in on my car, and somebody else had a 10-second dial in on their car. You know, we go up there on a full tree, but there's a handicap. Their green lights or their lights are going to start, you know, 4.5, 3.5. I don't remember the numbers, but it was quite a few seconds beforehand until mine start, and then I got to chase them down. And you don't want to break out. You don't want to go faster than your dial in, and you know it's like a bracket racing thing. And I don't know shit about bracket racing. I just know that I did not enjoy that. That's not what I was expecting. That's my first time ever doing anything like that. I thought it was kind of like, you know, a chip draw, and you just run what you brung and hope you brung enough. I mean, but whatever. It was you know, a learning lesson, and you know, I learned something. I'll probably never get involved in one of those again. And, you know, and I get why people do it, because some people just like to run consistent stuff, and that's what works for them. You know, that's not me though. I mean, I like to be consistent, but I like to push it every single time if I can. You know, baby steps. So, anyways, enough about that. So we're back here in the beginning, right? Same tune-up. I didn't change anything in the tune-up. I was not expecting to be in the right lane this time. The event organizer told us that lanes 5 and 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Lanes 6 and 7 were for the gambler's race, and 2 and 3 were for test and tune. So me thinking 6 and 7, I went ahead and got in lane 6, thinking that I'll get left lane again. Well, I didn't find out until after I was already getting ready to pull into the staging area that 5 and 6 were for the event. So 6 was the right lane and 5 was the left lane. I was like, fine, whatever. I've never had good luck in the right lane at this track. The car, for some reason, just hits harder in the right lane. Left lane, I can keep the front end down all day and make good, you know, solid passes. Right lane, not so much. If I'd have known that I was going to be in the right lane, I'd have yanked some out of it. Or hell, I might have even just foot braked it to keep the front end down. But I didn't. So, anyways, so yes, I'm in the right lane. I went out this round, but you can see right here at 5,800 RPMs, nitrous stage was only at 40%. We're talking 0.77 seconds into the run, and then I pedaled it. Right? So nitrous is still off. Now it's coming back on. Started over again at 35%. Right, and then bam, pedaled it again. Those were the wheelies. Right, so still no nitrous on. Here we go, nitrous is back on. And then I hit RPM cut. 7,500 is my RPM cut. I thought it was 7,700, so I'm going to have to make that adjustment. But you can clearly see up there it says 74.99 and, well, 75.02. So I hit the cutoff, you know, which is fine. The pass was already shot anyways. So far already, we've had the nitrous reset twice from pedaling, and then once for a cutoff. So we have 3 restarts on the nitrous timer already. Okay, it's starting to come back on right here. Right, we're going. We're at full throttle. Excuse me. And then, bam, I did it again. I hit nitrous cut, 7,504 RPMs. So that's the 4th time the nitrous timer or the nitrous shuts off in one single pass. Okay. Actually, it did it again. I didn't even see this one the last time I looked at it. So that's what, 5 timer resets, or 5 resets in total, and then it rides out until I cross the stripe at 69.81. right? So the nitrous started over 5 times in one single pass. 2 because I pedaled and 3 because of RPM cut. I still went. I don't have the slip in front of me. I think this was like a 650 pass. And like I said, it was horrible. Horrible. 2 wheelies, 2 pedals, 3 RPM cuts, and still went that fast. I think it still went 115 or 116 miles an hour. So, yeah, it was a botched pass. And I don't know that there was much that I could have done without having my laptop there with me, or possibly just foot braking it. I don't know. I haven't foot braked in a while. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. I wasn't really looking to do too well in this event. I was there to try and push my car. I told the guy that I was running, or at least I told one of his buddies. I'm not exactly sure who was running the other car. It was some little red Mustang. I told him, I said, I don't care what my dial-in says. I said, I'm going after it. And, that's just what it is. I mean, it only cost me an extra $10 to join the event. So the way I look at it is, I paid $10 and a chance to maybe go around or something. It doesn't matter. So let me look at my notes here real quick. Third pass. So yeah, the total time during this pass that the nitrous was actually on was 5.2 seconds. And that's including all the ramp time, on and off. But the total time that the nitrous was at 100% duty cycle was only 0.726, right? So less than a second, less than 3/4 of a second, I was at 100% nitrous on this pass. And it still did okay for being such a jacked up pass. So I know I need to work on my RPM cut. I was having a hard time seeing my shift light. I have an LED bulb in it and everything already. So I'll have to figure it out. Maybe build like a shield around it or something. I don't know. I even have a digital display in front of my face that I was trying to look at, but between the car wheeling and bouncing and whatever, it's hard to look at that screen. And it's just going to take more time, more seat time to get where I need to be. So yeah, that was the third pass. Like I said, I went out of the event in that round, which was the first round. But I did get data, and I did learn something from this. And I know I need to work on some stuff. So what you're going to see next is going to be the fourth and final pass, which is a test pass where I raced another Mustang. And before I go into too much detail, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here so I can go ahead and get that one ready. Hey, so we just made another pass. Did you record me after I went out on the Gamblers race?
No.
So that's what, 4 passes today?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the first 2 were test passes. The third one was first round of the Gamblers race. I got knocked out because, I beat me twice. And I think I have it on video. So I decided to stick around for one more test pass and get the left lane again. 3 out of 4 passes were in the left lane. And that right lane, like I said earlier, I'm known to do wheelies here. And that's exactly what happened. So this fourth pass, it went good. I didn't set the world on fire, but I did get my best 60 foot and a decent mile an hour, and I beat the guy in the other lane. So I got that going for me. But But yeah, I think we're going to pack it up, get ready to go. It's getting pretty crowded here, and all right. So this is the one for the fourth pass. And as you can see, the red line, RPM line, is pretty squiggly. Kind of like the last one. But believe it or not, it's not nearly as bad. So, I believe the tune-up was the same. Only thing I did was, I don't even know if I brought it all in sooner. I'm not sure. But we'll go over it here bit by bit. So anyways, this was left lane again. Yeah, my notes state here that it's the same tune-up as the third pass, so that's fine. So if you look here, the nitrous timer is on. We're at 40%, 42, 43, 44. So at 0.97 seconds into the run, so less than a second, I pedaled it, right? And the car was kind of getting out of shape a little bit. I don't mean like bad, but as you can see here, the TPS, it's at 74%. So I went from 100, or what was I at? 91, 96, yeah, 96 to 74 to pedal it and gather it back up, but that restarts the nitrous. So again, you know, nitrous is off, doesn't come back on. We'll see it turned off at 0.616 into the run. Didn't come back on until 1.144. That's up here. Okay. And then let's see here. Here's the shift. That was at 72.59. Drops down about 1100 RPM. Nitrous is still on. TPS, we're at wide open. Right? All the vitals are good. And then bam, pedaled it again. Down to 19%. So I almost took my foot completely off the throttle. And that was at 3.058 into the run. So just under, or just over half of the run, right? So the nitrous has started over again. So that's twice now that the nitrous has started over. All right, so we're going. Nitrous is still on. We're running it out, 100%. You know, until I cross the stripe at 69.96, so almost 7,000 RPMs. All right. So this one, the total time the nitrous was on was 5.62 seconds, and this I want to say was a 6:10 pass, something like that. And then the total time I was at 100% duty cycle was 1.606 seconds. So pedaled it twice, you know, the nitrous ramp starting completely over, and I actually ended up beating this guy. Drove around him. He treated me pretty good. I'm not sure if he red lit or not. I can't tell by the video. My wife was kind of stuck in an area that was kind of far away from the starting line, doing the videos. But anyways, I still won. I drove around him, and I had a good time all in all. So that's gonna conclude the review for the data logs from my 4 passes. I just wanted to share these with you. One thing I know I've learned is that I have a lot of work to do on my end. I need to make sure that I go to wide open throttle a lot better. Maybe there's something going out the cable or the pedal. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. But first thing I'm going to do is going to confirm wide open throttle. And then I'm going to talk to my tuner, Aaron, with Green Shorts Performance about a pedaling strategy, and seeing what we can do there, because I feel like I'm losing a lot of time with all this ramps starting over and having to work its way back up. And I know there's ways in the Terminator to see, you know, pedaling strategy with pause or, you know, delaying, stuff like that. So I'm going to get his input on that. But yeah, so I just wanted to go over these with you. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you learned something. If you have any comments or you're not sure of something, you know, question or whatever, you know, just let me know, and I'll answer it the best I can. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you here, and there may not even be an outro. I haven't made up my mind yet. So in the event there isn't, I'll see you next time.
The echoes of eternity.